Uh, guys, uh, I, I saw someone say about my character's II lore. You know, my II character's lore. Unfortunately, if you haven't saw yet, I've been posting about them a bit more recently. And I think I should might as well tell the lore about them, because I've been thinking about it while I was taking a shower. Yes, I'm sorry to admit this, and this is not a secret, but this is a fact. My shower thoughts is mostly why CAF exists. And it's pretty much why lore exists too. That's why I'm able to create lore, because, well, I have shower thoughts, a whole lot of them. Anyways, I think we should get started, shall we? Well, I think we should start with Maria, which is the girl version of MePhone. But she's way more than that. And I'm gonna tell you why I said that in a minute. So, Maria is basically a less selfish version of MePhone 4. She has more of a, well, thankful, grateful personality than selfish. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't share her simulants of gluttony. You hear that, Maria? You fat ass. Anyways, let's. I was just gonna. I already just put a. I just put a some. I just put a slight personality rate. Anyways, let's get into it. Well, for season one, and please get ready for a few typos because I haven't watched the whole series yet. I haven't watched the entirety of season 3. I didn't know that season 2 and season 3 were connected, unfortunately. So I did watch the entirety of 1 and 2, but I haven't watched the entirety of 3. I watched all the way to at least 11. So, and I have saw a few spoilers about I 17 and I 18. So, sorry. In season 1, about Maria, well, she was just a silly Billy. Basically, a silly Billy. She hasn't really cared about what else has been, what really went on in the show. She was just laughing at the challenges and mostly being a fat ass with me, phone 4. Let's go ahead and also get, let's go ahead and also kind of get a little bit more into it. Well, the reason if you looked at my AU video and Maria was pretty much angry at Maria 3GS, the reason why of that is basically because one of the reasons is why she's mad at the contestants is because they treated her like shit the whole entire season. The whole entire series, pretty much. They act like she was not there. They act like she was just a decoration of me, phone 4. And she was basically, well, the one magic word, delusional. Because she kind of had a soft spot for me, phone 4. But of course, she was not going to admit that. She wouldn't admit that on her dead body. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it for season 1. Yes, she did. Her and me, phone 4 did had a few quarrels, but that's kind of it for the happy part. Now let's go to the kind of climax. Well, in the middle of season 1, Maria decided to basically at basically episode 16 of II season 1, Maria and me, phone 4 had a huge quarrel, because Maria didn't really like that she was me, phone 4 was treating the contestants like dog water. So Maria decided to put that, and the quarrel went on and on and on until me, phone 4 did say something that kind of penetrated Maria's heart, which basically he said that he'd never want to see her again and that the contestants were absolutely right about her. And after that, they haven't spoke since. Basically just one broken friendship. But Maria did stay there. She did stay there and did watch the show. She just stayed quiet and hided behind bushes and stuff. Yeah, basically like one, but not Not trying to do anything evil, just trying to watch the show entirely. Even went as far as to using the boat that MePhone 4 generated to go to that island. Anyways, I think that's it, isn't it? Oh yeah, and MePhone 4 decided to replace Maria with MePad. And, well, Toilet, even though he didn't really ask Toilet to be there. Basically, Adam put him there. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it. Maria just watched the whole entire show on and on. And I can't really forget that scene, like, at, like, the season 2 ending. Look, I am gonna put the whole entire status. So, y'all get ready for a long-ass video of lore. Anyways, Maria did, like, I believe in II-16 on season 2, or, like, 17, I believe. Maria did appear if she was, look, if she was an II. That doesn't mean she's actually in there, but if she was, she would do this. Basically just telling y'all that right now. She's not actually in II, but if she was, I'm basically telling the lore for it. Okay? So don't look around AI looking for Maria or any of my OCs, because they're not actually in there. I kind of wish, but it's not. Anyways, let's go back to the topic. Maria did appear in season 2 when MePhone 4 was in the closet with some of the exterminated contestants. I'm sorry. I have animatic battle humor sometimes. Anyways, Maria came up in there and decided to basically confront MePhone 4 of how he treated her. And it went to a quarrel again. And this time, Maria ended up winning the quarrel. And ended up making MePhone 4 feel guilty for his actions towards her. But even though Maria did move on MePhone 4, for some reason, she still had that soft spot. And let's go ahead and go to season 4. Her status there. Well, for season 3, she barely did shit, really. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all season 3. For season 3, she barely did anything but just stared at the show. But she would show slight concern for MePhone 4 on II-17 and II-18. And she would try to get him unmuted, but unfortunately, she couldn't. And she just gave up there. And season 2's ending, she kind of got broken by that. She, for some reason, missed MePhone 4, and she didn't really know why she did. Because, to her, in season 2 and season 3, he was just a filthy piece of shit. Anyways, for the status on Maria on season 4, Maria is pretty much depressed from season 2's ending, and she knew, even though she was mad at MePhone 4 for how he treated her, she did kind of knew that it was not MePhone 4's fault, or at least thought. She pretty much knew, though. She knew that it was mostly Cobb's fault. It was mostly Steve Cobb's fault, and it was not his. She thought that he was basically the reason why MePhone 4 was selfish and basically just cared about the show and the viewers. And of course she was not going to talk to the contestants, because the contestants still think that she's a decoration after everything. They still think that she's just a stupid decoration of the show, that she's just a bow tie. That's all she is to the contestants. Alright, go ahead and move on to Maria 3GS. Yeah, I'm telling y'all, it's going to be a big pile of floor, so y'all go ahead and soak that in. Oh, and one more thing. Maria is looking forward to getting revenge. Yeah. And Maria 3GS is basically trying to tell her that, well, they need to go home. And I'm going to tell y'all why in the ending of the video. Well, let's go ahead and go to Maria 3GS. Unfortunately, in season 1, she doesn't appear. Because she's still with Sarah. And I'm going to tell y'all about Sarah's status sooner in this video. And if y'all don't want me yapping all about, y'all can skip to at least the end. I'm not going to put this timestamp yet because in the forums of making this video, I don't know the timestamp. But in season 2, though, she does appear. Because that was when she was captured, and that was when when Maria 3GS was captured in Meeple, along with Maria 4S and Maria. But she did escape with MePhone 4, which was why she was in the show in the first place. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. Maria 3GS was basically, she didn't have that much trauma when she was in Meeple. I mean, basically didn't. But one time she did try to escape. Well, at least until she tried to escape. And then cops dragged her by the foot, face first, making slight cracks on her screen, and also basically why her voice is pixelated like MePhone 3GS's. Bonkers. And basically, when MePhone 4 decided to leave MePhone 3GS there, I believe, Maria 3GS finally ended up meeting him, and basically finally ended up meeting 3GS, and she felt really bad for him. And that's when she started to get extremely protective over him. Because she was not going to let something like that happen again. And that was also when she got attached. And, yeah. So, basically, well, if she was in there when 3GS tried to get the shimmer eggs for Cobbs, she would basically try to stop 3GS and the other phones from getting them. Basically trying to fail at the mission and make 3GS suffer even more. But of course, she wouldn't really notice that either. And yeah, I did saw a few spoilers of the season 3 I didn't watch. So basically in season 3, Maria 3GS was obviously protective over 3GS, and sometimes even wouldn't let him. Damn it! Why'd I say her? Anyways, wouldn't let him talk to others sometimes because she didn't want the others to hurt him. Basically, you can call it a protective notation. Monkers. Anyways, well, Maria 3GS does, well, for season 4, Maria 3GS does miss 3GS, but she claims that she had moved on, basically. Sorry for the drop, I dropped my phone, kind of. Anyways, sorry, I have to breathe. But she actually hasn't moved on, and she doesn't want to believe that that she's stuck in the past. Anyways, that's pretty much it for Maria 3GS's lore. Now let's go to Maria 4S, which is probably going to be a bit longer. Dang, I'm wondering, what if I add the Darman sound effects to every single lore that I put it? You know, like the Darman compilations that has that. Anyways, get back to the topic. In season 1, Maria 4S was a nuisance to MePhone 4S. Basically, well, her nickname was basically the more nonsense and egoless version of MePhone 4S. She was basically a nuisance. She would pretty much tease 4S about his ego, try to make his ego go pop. And also, of course, judge him about liking Hello Kitty. I mean, like, literally. I would do the same exact thing, to be honest. Why would someone who likes death and destruction like Hello Kitty? That's messed up. Anyways, she would also try to distract him when he was trying to co-host, basically so she could try to co-host, even though that probably wouldn't work out anyway. She probably wouldn't be able to get her own spin-off either, because it would probably be nonsensical challenges, and she'd probably tease the contestants to death. Anyways, well, here goes the slight sadness part. I mean, it's not that sad, really. Or at least I don't think it is. Maria Forés, well, basically, I believe on season 1, episode 18, I think, when Mifune Forés sacrificed himself for Mifune 4 to basically come back, Maria Forés, even though she knew that Mifune Forés really didn't give a damn about her, she gave a damn about him. When he basically fell to the floor, when he fell to the ground, she felt something in her die for absolutely no reason, or at least she thought. And if she was at the ending of season 1, it would basically show her, she would be sitting right beside where Idiotic Island is, or I hope Evil Paper isn't here. Basically where Idiotic Island is, or where it used to be. It would basically say that she would avenge 4S by staying tough for him and not showing any emotion until she sees him again, basically acting like him, with an ego and just basically saying shut up all the time and being tough, trying to be tough. And so she did follow on her word. Let's go to season 2, shall we? I'm gonna go ahead and do that stupid intro. Ever since season 2, even though Maria Forés was barely visible in it, she was visible in a few episodes. Well, basically if she was in a few of them. She would be basically in a few episodes. She would basically be in a few episodes. And every episode she was in, she put on a whole entire new persona. And not in a good way either. She would basically push everybody away. Basically tell everybody to shut up. Basically tease everybody, but basically in the bully type of way. Just bully everybody around her, including her own bloodline. Which is basically Maria 3GS, and Miria. She would even tell Meepad to shut up if he tried to comfort her. And if someone would manage to get her ego to go pop, she would almost immediately get emotional and just talk about 4S, which I really don't blame her. I mean, she lost someone that she generally actually cared about, even though she didn't show it. What did you expect? She wouldn't just simply move on. But it would even go as far as her basically just shoving the contestants and pulling them over, basically. She would sometimes do it physical, she would mostly do it emotionally. It didn't really matter how she bullied the other contestants. It was still kind of wrong. But she wasn't really doing this because she basically just wanted to see the contestants' downfall. She just did that because she was hurt badly for someone that probably even doesn't care about her. Anyways, let's go ahead and go to the the season 2 ending. She does show up in season 3, but right next to 4S. And she does show up in season 2, but, well, I mean, yes, she does show up in the ending, But basically, in, what Box calls it, the place where you die forever, she stays there, pretty much, because she wants to stay with 4S, and she does not want to leave him again. So she's just gonna be in there. And if no one gets her out of there, she's probably gonna be in there for the rest of existence. Because she just wants to be with 4S, so she could basically tease him and make his ego go pop. But she does care about him. Because, well, if she didn't, she wouldn't be doing that. And she would obviously show. It sometimes even showed in her body language that she cared about him. And I do kind of ship them, kind of. Yes, I'm like the queen, the CEO of OCX Canon. So don't blame me if I ship somebody. If I ship one of my OCs with the canon characters, if I see one comment complaining about me shipping MePhone 4S and Maria 4S, I'm immediately deleting it. I'm exterminating you off my channel. Boink! Anyways, as in Season 4, well, it's the same as I said. She's still with 4S, and she's not going to leave. Unless someone forces her to, of course. Or unless somebody just physically drags her out. Or, generates her out. I really don't care. Basically. Now let's go ahead and go to, the last one. Which is Miria. Well, the second to last one. Actually, the third to last one. Because in the next video, I'll be talking about Glassy if she was an II. Which, if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, Inanimate Insanity, if y'all didn't already know what I was talking about. Let me go ahead and do that cringe intro. Miria, well, since she always felt left out, and she felt like no one usually cared about her, she's just a shy version of MePad. She barely talks, and when she does, it's pretty low, because she doesn't want anyone to hear her. Sometimes she doesn't even want anybody to see her face, which is why sometimes she just doesn't show up at all. Season 1, yes, she doesn't show up in there. She doesn't show up in Season 1. Or Season 3. But she would show up in Season 2 and Season 4. Yeah. And yes, I'm talking about they were in there, not they were actually in there. Just saying that one more time. That's going to be the last time I say that, I swear. You know what, just look at the title if you think that they're actually in there. Most of the time, her sisters, which is Maria, Maria 4S, and Maria 3GS, they would mostly just leave her out. Because they really, to be honest, they really didn't play nice with her. She was shy, they thought she was shy, and that she was boring, and she was just basically not fun to be around. Which, they were kind of right. Not really, but kinda. Anyways, there were only two people that she at least thought that cared about her. Sarah, which is the creator of Miria, Maria 3GS, Maria 4S, and Maria, which I'm gonna get to that last. At least in this video. And you guessed it, MePad. I kinda ship them too. Don't hate me. Don't judge me. I swear if you judge me, you're getting exterminated off my channel. Do not judge me. Don't judge me. I know y'all. I know y'all. I know you all, MePad and toilet shippers. Don't judge me. The only person that she would end up talking to, you guessed it, was MePad, because she was pretty sure that he was the only one who cared about her. And he was also kind of the only one to actually notice her. At least that's what she thought. The contestants, of course, didn't notice her because she was barely visible. And when she was mostly turned away, her back always showing. But she did kind of feel useless. she did kind of feel useless in the show. I mean, it's not like she wasn't being useless. She thinks that she's useless, okay? She thinks that she's useless, and she also kind of thinks that she can't show her face because it would just make everybody think of her the same as Maria, a decoration. Anyways, well, let's go ahead and go to the sad part. That's basically all of it. Let's go ahead and go to the sad part. Unfortunately, in the II Season 2 ending, when Meepad sacrificed himself, which I believe for was Taco, Miria didn't took it lightly. And, well, unfortunately, she ended up going along with Meepad, if you catch my drift. And in Season 4, it does show her, but of course she was like a ghost. I mean, Maria was able to regenerate her because she didn't use that, Anyways, she didn't use that. Anyways, she was kind of seen as a ghost now, and now she kind of lives in the haunted house now with Bo and Doe, and I believe Steve Cobbs probably is there too. Lol. Probably Knife is too. And she really doesn't want to go either, because she doesn't want to leave Meepad. Because she feels like that's the only person, that's like one of the only people who care about her. Now, let's go ahead and do the last one, which is Sarah Cobbs. Basically, it's basically all the lore in one, pretty much. Let's go ahead and do the cringy intro. Now let's go ahead and go. If y'all don't know, Sarah is the girl version of Cobbs, which means she's, well, not cruel at all, and she's pretty successful and just only 4 devices. And here's the thing, she doesn't make them for hardship, she makes them for companionship, which is probably why they are so naive. She's a good mother, at least mentally and emotionally, and physically, at least physically and emotionally. Okay, at least physically and mentally, but kind of not emotionally, because she's always overprotective. She barely even lets the others go outside without her having to assist, because, well, she also has warned them about Cobbs. And she'd rather go to face with Cobbs herself than let her daughters, hold up, let me go ahead and put the quotes in that, daughters, then, see her, put this in quotes again, I'm not gonna put it in real life, but daughters get captured, or probably even worse. And Sarah, I'm gonna go ahead and get this straight as well. In my AU, Sarah and Cobbs are enemies. They're enemies. Sometimes I ship them, but again, they're enemies. Don't hate me for the OCX canon now. Now, there are plenty of OCX canon shippers I saw. Anyways, let's go back to this. Sarah does own a company named Moople, which is just a knockoff of Meeple. It's basically the same apple that has 2 bites instead of 1, basically. Well, for Sarah, she was just basically chilling. Like, in Season 1, it would, if she was in Season 1, it would basically show her just, well, treating her devices, which is Maria 4S, Maria 3GS, and Miria, kind of like children. Like, they're her own children. Yeah, I said that. Her own children. Except she's extremely protective. She even goes as far as to sometimes even putting Sometimes even putting carpets on the floor when she mops, so they don't end up slipping and breaking their screen. Anyway, it would basically show Cobbs in the ship taking Maria first, and then later on in season 2, later on, like in the starting of season 2, Cobbs ends up taking the others, all the others. Basically, Maria 3GS, Maria 4S, and Miria. And they were basically trapped in there because Cobbs absolutely hated Sarah. He even had a punching bag of her in his office. Bonkers. Anyways, he would basically try to, turn her own devices against her. And that's when Sarah slowly started getting depressed. And basically started leaking hope. Basically her hope was basically hanging by a thread. Well, her hope was slowly going to hanging by a thread, basically. Sarah was pretty much sure that she could get them back. But here's the thing. If she tried, she could possibly end up like her devices as well. So she couldn't really do nothing but just wait in emotional and mental pain, waiting for her devices. Because she actually generally cared about them. And that was one thing that, was her worst nightmare. Her worst nightmare was her devices to be taken away by Cobbs. And her nightmare went true. Her nightmare came true. Her worst nightmare came true. So all she could do is just wait in her office in pain. Which also basically the building that she made proceeds to actually also be her home. And she really doesn't have any workers. She does have a few, but not as much. Basically, not only is the building her company, it's also her home because she also lives there. Yeah. So Cobbs basically has been trying to, I am kind of looking forward to, making a dad for the devices. So, y'all kind of stay tuned. Anyways, Cobbs has been pretty much experimenting on Miria, experimenting or at least trying to get them controlled, even going as far as to putting viruses in their USB to basically try to control them and put them against Sarah. And basically starting with Miria, one of the most vulnerable ones. Of course, he failed multiple times, and he never ever got it right. And eventually, Maria was the first one to escape, because she escaped with Me Phone 4. Maria 3GS, was the second one to escape, which pretty much escaped in season 3. Pretty much managed to escape in season 3. Maria 4S was the third one to escape, because she basically escaped herself. She maybe managed to escape right before Me Phone 4 and Maria escaped. And of course, Miria had managed to get out too, with some teleporter, I guess. So they all did manage to escape, and of course, Cobbs failed. But, for Sarah, she thought that they were just gone. That her devices were doomed, and so was she. So she was basically just left there to wait in pain. She tried making a few more devices, or at least trying to cope with, trying to act like they're actually there. But, she kind of knows it's not. And, of course, she thinks that she's kind of crazy for doing all that. Just to cope. And, also in season 4, let me go ahead and also recite this. Maria wants Me Phone 4 back. And, of course, she doesn't know why. All she's been was, she has been nice to him in season 1, until the quarrel, and ever since that, She treated him exactly like shit. So, of course, she didn't know why she wanted him back. But she did. And basically wanted to apologize for everything that she's done. Even if he wouldn't forgive her. She just wanted him back on the show. The show was not the same. And of course, she was not going to try to compete in it. Because the contestants still think that she's an absolute decoration. So, yeah. And about Sarah one more time, she's just left to wait in pain, left to wait until her devices somehow make a way back to her. Even if they just magically teleport as an hallucination back to her, she'd be just as happy. So, Sarah's depressed. Sarah has a depression arc in season 4. Well, from basically the whole entire rest of the series. Ever since all of her devices just got taken away from her. She didn't even try to fight because she knew if she fighted, it possibly would be dangerous. So she just laid there. It's kind of sad. But, yeah. That's basically all I have to say. Basically all I have for the... Yeah, it's basically all I have for my CAF IIOCs, if they were actually in II, which is basically their lore as well. So, that's pretty much it. And yes, I did this at midnight. I'm doing this at midnight right now. Even though it might be... Yeah, I'm doing this at midnight right now. It can possibly get... Well, it will get uploaded tomorrow, but I'm just letting y'all know. I'm doing this at midnight right now. But pretty much that's it. So I'll see y'all. I know this is pretty much gonna be a long video, 100%. So if I were y'all, I'd skip through. Or I'd watch the whole entire video if you dared. Anyways, somebody let me know in the comments if you actually watched the full video. Because, most people don't watch my long-term videos. They only watch my shorts. But I'm still grateful for the views I get. As long as I get a view on a CAF episode, I'm going to keep doing them. And even if I don't, I'm still going to keep doing them because I love them. I love CAF and I love what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing it. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and go, y'all. That's all the lore I have for now. Well, probably tomorrow or probably when next week of the weekend comes, I'll maybe make the lore on Glassy if she was in II. And probably also put a little bit more of her original lore. So, yeah, bye!